Why do the banks need XRP? A lot of people talk about XRP, moving value seamlessly, payments, efficiency, and why XRP is the answer. But what many folks miss is that XRP on the balance sheet as a reserve currency or as an asset that is set to appreciate in price significantly can help these banks out in another way. And that's in adjusting the hundreds of billions of dollars of unrealized losses that they have on their balance sheet. That is a major problem for the biggest banks, not only here in the United States, but around the world. And so Bank of America, we just got the report, has 130 billion of unrealized losses on their bonds. Not good. And we see about 400 to 600 billion in unrealized losses, depending on who's keeping count, on the rest of the banks here in the United States that, have unrealized losses on their balance sheet that are going to be crippling unless they provide an answer. And someone has to come forward and solve this problem. And this is separate from the payments issue. This is separate from cross-border payments. XRP does that as well. But these banks need to fix their balance sheets. When you add suppressed assets like XRP, like gold, like some of these other suppressed assets that we've been talking about getting set free here, the ability to write up those assets as they appreciate in price over the coming decade is how you fix these horrendous balance sheets that these banks have. So in today's update, we're going to go through the current events, cryptocurrency, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history, why they are making sure they're getting on the right side of the transfer of wealth by stacking XRP. They've been testing XRP for years. I went back and it's just incredible. I was going back reading old articles about Ripple from 2015, 2016, and 2017. And it did make me feel kind of warm and fuzzy inside reading articles that were bullish about Ripple, excited about Ripple, versus in the middle of this bear market recession, we're just like desperately hoping and praying for some good news and price action. It's incredible when you go back through the Wayback Machine and you read some of these old articles and just how bullish the moves were during the last bull run, how excited folks were for Ripple and XRP. And I can't wait to see that excitement brought back. And what it did also is it confirmed that some of these banks have been working with Ripple literally since 2014, 2015, approaching nearly a decade of partnerships with Ripple and XRP, well over a decade of uptime for the XRP ledger. And not only is it solving cross-border payments efficiencies in that regard, but we need to fix the balance sheets. A lot of folks overlook that. A lot of folks think that it's inappropriate to call XRP a reserve currency. A lot of folks think that that's crazy talk, even though Ripple themselves stated in 2017 that they had a simple goal of making XRP a world reserve digital currency that was as liquid as a G10 currency. So when Ripple says that it's okay, but when I say that I want to treat my XRP like a reserve currency and that I'm going to be holding on to it probably forever and might not ever sell some of my XRP, I'm a crazy, right? And you guys understand this is why we do what we do here, coming every single day with the content that matters most. If you appreciate these updates, I'm going to try to go through this rather quickly because I know time is money and we got a lot happening these days. It's definitely crazy. Markets back up today, 28,650 for our Bitcoin. Ethereum up to 1565 and XRP back to 50.5 cents. Taking a look here at the stocks, checking it. And the DXY back down today. All the stocks really back down today. Tesla getting smacked 9.3% on Tesla. But gold continues the rally up to 1,985. So up another 0.24, almost 25 basis points there. And silver back up 0.5% to 23.15 per ounce. And then oil continuing up to $93 for your Brent worldwide benchmark and up to $90 for the US crude oil benchmark. And we take a look here at our Bitcoin chart. And we see that Bitcoin did rally up to about 29,000 here earlier today, consolidating back down. But this thing's really hanging out here well. And I think that we could see this move sustained over the next couple weeks, or so, at least holding out here. What I'm waiting for, the news that I'm waiting for that'll bring us back down is that the SEC is not approving those Bitcoin spot ETFs. They, the press release, they were due 2 days ago and we still haven't heard anything. So I'm assuming that they haven't been approved. I'm assuming that they're delayed. They haven't been denied. I'm sure they would have been happy to give us that announcement. But this temporary pump based off the fake news that happened Monday has everyone excited again. Along with this narrative of the war taking place, has Bitcoin pumping, has XRP going. A couple other cryptos are moving with it. But, Bitcoin dominance really growing right now as folks are seeking sustainability. This is why savings had grown so much over the last year. Now we're starting to see savings fall off, and folks are moving to alternatives. Bitcoin moving, XRP's been moving, but now you're seeing gold has really rallied and really separated from the rest of the markets and the stocks. Gold, silver, and oil climbing back up. So real value climbing back up. Meanwhile, we take a look here at the current events. Kobesi letter reports that the total U.S. debt is now up $650 billion since it crossed $33 trillion exactly 1 month ago. So in 1 month time, we're up another $650 billion. And yesterday, we jumped by $58 billion in 1 day. We have been growing on average $22 billion per day for the last month. In other words, we have added $950 million in debt every hour for the last month. It's unfathomable. You can't wrap your head around how they are spending money this quickly. Since the debt ceiling crisis ended, total U.S. debt is up over $2 trillion. Since 2020, U.S. total debt is officially up more than $10 trillion. What's the game plan here? Well, the game plan here is to keep running the deficits, keep running up the debt, and to pay back all these liabilities with cheap printed fiat dollars that are going to be, entered into existence here over the next year as we pick back up quantitative easing and they bring liquidity back, and then they start to cut rates. We're waiting for that Fed pivot. Powell to open back up his Pandora's box next year. And that's going to turn the money printers back on, and they're going to pay back all these liabilities with cheap U.S. dollars. And that's going to only, bring inflation back stronger than it already was. So we hit an all-time high, or not an all-time high. We hit a high of 9.1% for our inflation. Most likely we'll be beating that by next year is my projection. Gold Telegraph reporting here that Chinese investors have offloaded the most United States securities in 4 years in August. The most that they've dumped in 4 years, they did it here in August, and this is Chinese investors. Are you noticing the trend yet? We are definitely 100% noticing that trend. And what we're trying to do here in the United States is get some accountability because our capital markets have been opened up for that country, for that CCP group. I try not to mention too often. And they've come in here and they've infiltrated this whole thing, and they've bought and paid for our politicians, and they've bought and paid for our regulatory agencies. And so we have folks finally getting over it. The Select Committee on the CCP, I didn't even know this was a thing. I guess this got launched here by Representative Gallagher, and Ranking Member Congressman Raha announced a bipartisan probe into Sequoia following its announcement to split from Sequoia capital, China. So this is starting to get uncovered. John Dean over the target, as always. He retweets out to Brian and he says, pay attention, Brian. What are the chances an investigation into Sequoia proves both Gensler and Clayton covered crimes for Neil Shen? I bet we're talking billions in capital market crimes against the American people. And Brian Costello says, John, I can state with certainty that both Gary Gensler and Jay Clayton declined to initiate investigations into alleged multi-billion-dollar U.S. capital market criminal activities, including Sequoia Capital's global steward and managing director Neil Shen. Shen was also a member of the Chinese government, and this was being concealed in his bio. I plan to disclose documents that were created and submitted to the FBI's Washington field office. During my interview on February 2nd, 2022, the FBI asked what the SEC was doing and rolled their eyes at the lack of action. Subsequently, it appears the Department of Justice chose not to pursue this matter and instead obstructed justice by issuing a warning to Sequoia through Kurt Campbell at the National Security Council. So they're being exposed in real time. Remember us in the XRP community? Lunatic whack jobs. What's your red folder for? This is what the red folder was for. And we got the red folder. We don't work for the CCP, but clearly our politicians, our regulators, the unelected bureaucrats from the bureaucracy beast agencies like the SEC that have been completely sold out, completely hijacked, clearly knew about all of this. They've been covering up and they haven't been doing a dang thing about it. Finally, we see somebody who is, and that's former Trump press secretary, right? Huckabee. And now she's the governor of Arkansas. Arkansas becoming the first state in the nation to force a Chinese state-owned company to give up its American land. So they've just passed a law where they're going to basically be taking back the farmland from Chinese investors. Very interesting. Now, I really hesitate. I get really, like, it's a slippery slope. I'm a strict constitutionalist. We need to protect the property rights of owners. But what we have is we have infiltration by entities that, foreign adversaries that are looking to disrupt this country, our critical food supply and infrastructure, our water. They've been doing it across our farmland, across this great land. I hesitate when I hear, okay, the state's coming in and going to take land from foreign investors. And you've already seen Florida's been doing this too. They actually banned, I think, the ability for Chinese nationals to invest in Florida under certain circumstances. And so this has already began in some states. Now Arkansas moving to take back the farmland, which is my understanding what this is based off of, is just taking back the farmland. And for sure, something has to be done. I don't know what the answer is, but pretending that nothing's going on and doing this dance that they've been doing at the SEC is absolutely despicable. This makes me just sick. When I see this clip that they shared here yesterday from the SEC, their official Twitter page, a message from all of us at the SEC to Chair Gensler. We're sorry that you're not at the beach with your twin brother today, but please share our best birthday wishes with Rob. Now, I'm going to play this 50-second interaction, and if you're wondering why our country's so jacked up and screwed, it's because we got little guys like this at the helm. I'm going to play this clip, and the way that they talk, I mean, just just how awkward they are as they squirm around in their little suits and make their cute little awkward jokes. This is what they're doing while our country is saying, guys, we don't have regulatory framework for digital assets. You've been going after legitimate actors in the space, and then foreign adversaries that want to invest and pour in billions of dollars into capital and actually perpetuate, fraudulent schemes on American retirees through all these fraudulent IPOs that were allowed to go through in this country, right? This should be the conversation of topic, not joking and patting each other on the back after we joke about Gary hanging out with his brother at the beach. This is what they're getting done in DC, guys. It's an absolute embarrassment to this country. Take a listen in on this.
Happy birthday to Rob Gensler. He should have told his twin brother to take the day off.
Before I go to Commissioner Crenshaw, I want to say that my twin brother is happily going to the beach today, but he's happy for me also because he knows I love the job. And so he would say, keep at it, Gary, and do what you want to do on your birthday.
Happy birthday to you and your twin. I will not ask which one came out first, but both of you, I definitely have made your marks.
Wasn't that just a real knee slapper? These guys are hilarious, aren't they?
In the profession.
My baby brother is doing fine today.
Thank you, Chair Gensler, and best wishes to you on your birthday and your brother's birthday today.
And I want to wish Rob Gensler a happy birthday. Just a little thought there. Happy birthday, twin brother.
Happy birthday to Rob Gensler.
What is going on in this country? It's an embarrassment. It's so clear why we're so far behind. These are the unelected bureaucrats in charge of America's capital markets, the golden standard, like the gold standard of capital markets in the world. And we got these little guys. Oh, just thought I'd add this cute little joke. Haha. What is happening? Our country's been stolen. And it's by you and your buddies, and that's why it's happy, slappy, good old times for Gary Gensler and the SEC and Hester Pierce. She goes on these other interviews and podcasts, and she shows up for interviews and acts tough. Oh, I didn't agree to this, and she tries to be an outlier until it's time to go kiss ass in front of the commission, and then they get together, and it's all happy, slappy, good old times, good old days, and we're the good guys protecting everyone. And what did they allow to happen? This whole scheme with Sam Bankman-Fried and SBF that's getting exposed completely in the courts right now. And they had this right under their nose. They had multiple conversations. They're supposed to be the cop on the beat. And meanwhile, it's happy, slappy time. Let's make sure we're having a good time at the beach is the conversation. Peter Easton. This is being reported by Eleanor Terra. Huge shout out to Eleanor. We really appreciate all of her work. Eleanor. Forensic accountant Peter Easton and witness for the prosecution at Sam Bankman-Fried's trial said that of the $45 million investment made in Scaramucci's Skybridge Capital in September of 2022 by Alameda, around $27 million, quote, must have come from customer funds. Uh-oh, Mr. Anthony Scaramucci, Mr. Smart Guy, Mr. Wall Street. We might have to claw this back. not to be confused with clawback amendment on the XRP ledger. I'll be talking about that in a separate video, but we're talking about crimes that were facilitated and funded through this money laundering operation known as FTX, right under the nose of Gary Gensler and the SEC, taking $27 million of customer funds to invest in the $45 million investment in Scaramucci's little Skybridge Capital. Isn't that cute? Oh, what a joy. These guys, we caught them all. In addition to Skybridge, guys, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Easton said that based on analysis of bank accounts, transactions, and information gathered from the FTX database, investments in Medulla Capital, Genesis, Dave, Cave 5, Global, and Robinhood were all funded, at least in part, using FTX customer funds. A lot of this is set to be clawed back, and including the donations made to both sides of the aisle. You bet. And now we have Laura the Shin. That's my nickname for it. Laura the Shiller Shin coming in here, and she's trying to cover this thing, even though she's been part of perpetuating a lot of these scams with Ethereum and everything. She doesn't want to talk about the Ethereum free pass, does she? But now she's the reporter on the case here when it comes to the FTX case. Financial flows analyst on how much FTX and Alameda had in its accounts was super interesting. Oh, was it? You don't say, Laura. They kept far less in their bank accounts and crypto wallets than what they owed. On October 31st, 2022, the difference was $10 billion. They owed customers $11.4 billion, but only had $1.1 billion. And see, she was one of those shills that was happy, slappy, good old days with Ethereum, the whole consensus group, the whole gang with FTX and Sam Bankman, all happy, slappy friends, right? But now we're the reporter on the scene. And actually, when I was digging up some old articles on Ripple, I found a classic from Forbes. I forgot that Laura used to be a contributor to Forbes when she wrote a classic article, The Billionaires That Are Getting Rich Off of XRP. And it was about Brad and it was about Chris Larson and how they were making all sorts of money on XRP, right? But she never wants to talk about that Ethereum free pass, does she? Now, as I titled this episode, the banks, they need XRP. They need assets on their balance sheet that they can write up. They have all these unrealized losses, hundreds of billions. We take a look at Bank of America, their Q3 report, showing a nice big steaming hot pile of you-know-what on their balance sheet. $131.6 billion of unrealized loss on their securities in Q3. Now, this is their bonds, the treasuries, but you also have to look at the commercial real estate that they've given loans on. You also have to look at the residential real estate that they've given loans on, the other toxic derivatives and exposure that they may have. This is hundreds of billions of dollars on their balance sheet of unrealized losses that if they, had to sell them today, if they had to write them mark to market today, they would lose $131 billion. Now, what's funny is that the way that they account this is all just accounting schemes. The way that they do this, they don't have to take that loss right now. It's an unrealized loss, but they aren't going to have to report this, right? And what they're trying to do is paint this rosy picture as everything's fine. But this is exposure to the bonds. This is exposure to commercial real estate, commercial real estate and residential real estate. It's all going bust. We have $1.5 trillion of commercial real estate to be reset by next year. We have $131 billion of unrealized losses on their bonds. It's not pretty. And so it's not just the cross-border payments issue that XRP solves. It's literally they need to add these assets to their balance sheet so that they have something to write up. They have something that they make money on, right? All these loans that they gave to folks at 2 and 3% are now a loss on their balance sheet because now they are loaning out at real rates of 7 and 8% for mortgages. Even the commercial real estate interest rates have gone up double, triple from the basically 1 and 2%, interest rates that they were giving them out at. And then the bonds on their balance sheet that they bought at a 1%, a 2% interest rate. Now the bonds are at 4 and 5% for your 10 and 30-year treasury. That's why this whole system's breaking right now. And if you're wondering how far back some of these partnerships go, it is truly incredible. I was going back and I found this one because I wanted to see when was the Bank of America Ripple partnership announced? How far back did it go? Because I thought it was 2017, 2018, maybe a little bit sooner. But I found this article from 2015, June of 2015. And it's from Temenos, which is a Ripple partner. And they say Ripple is attracting great interest among leading financial institutions around the world. In 2 years, that is, technology has been live, 2 U.S. banks, Crossover and CBW, have publicly announced that they are integrating with Ripple. So has Fidor, a German bank, in addition to Earthport, a global payment service network whose customers include HSBC, Bank of America, and Standard Chartered Bank, have adopted the technology. Some see Ripple's technology as having the potential to create a global real-time gross settlement system. Such systems to operate in near real-time exist in some national and regional banking markets, but until Ripple emergence, there has been nothing to knit them together. There's a huge opportunity to capture a lot more efficiency from existing technology, says Scully. That's what Ripple aims to do. So we got these partnerships going all the way back to 2015. Now, I also found that R3 was trying out XRP back with their partners. They did tests with XRP back in 2015 and 2016 as well, where Bank of America was part of that R3 consortium as well. So R3, along with dozens of banks, part of their network, they were trying XRP back in 2015 or 2016. Now you see why it's not that, see, because folks would always say, why would these banks accept Ripple's technology? They don't want to accept Ripple's technology. They don't want to accept XRP. They don't want to cut out their middleman fees. Well, we come to a world now where that's what the market demands. That's what the market expects. So you have to offer real-time settlement, and your fees for cross-border transactions, all this, are going to come down as well. So what's one way that you can benefit? Well, you can hold the underlying asset as it appreciates in value and as the utility grows on it. And the other reason why this is beneficial to you is because you have such blemishes on your balance sheet as 131 billion of unrealized losses on your bonds. So it's not that it directly solves the balance sheet issue, but it's the scale, right? On one part of the scale, we have losses taking us down 131 billion. And on the other side, we have exposure to XRP through pre-allocated contracts, through options deals, through just adding it to our balance sheet, through we don't have the ability to take custody of it right now, but we earmark some XRP, right, in these pre-allocation contracts through Ripple's escrow. This is how they get exposure. Then they get to take receipt of these assets as they appreciate. And then you also get to sit down at the table with Ripple where the conversation is about where XRP goes. And it's not about XRP, is going to be at 50 cents forever. It's, hey, we have XRP at 50 cents available right now. If you want a deal on XRP, we can pre-allocate you a little bit here. If you buy in bulk, maybe we'll give you a little bit of a deal, right? And you can get your allocation of XRP even before we have regulations and custody and all the rules set. And we know that this was already done with R3. And if R3 was doing it and they were running tests with dozens of banks with XRP, I wonder if those banks thought about adding any XRP to their balance sheet as well. They're seeing their partner, they're part of a consortium with R3, and they see R3 go to get 5 billion XRP. And we're just going to sit here and think, they probably, just brush that off. That was no big deal. We'll just sit back and let R3 pick up 5 billion XRP while we run trials on it, but we're not going to pick up any. We're not interested. Yeah, okay. I think Digital Asset Investor has an igloo in South Georgia to sell you if you believe that one. And so, folks, to me, it's very clear. The situation at hand continues to be pressing, continues to be very volatile. Make sure you guys are staying safe out there. We continue to pray for peace. We continue to stay ready for whatever they're going to throw at us next. It's going to be a dicey situation for the next coming months. Bear market recession, not going to be getting out of it anytime soon. So we hunker back down. We continue to build out our infrastructure. Right now is the time to focus on your education. I'm trying to put out more content to help you guys understand the broader markets, the broader economic data. We got to decode the data because it's a lie from our government and from the economists, the talking head economists that tell us that the Fed has won the fight against inflation. What they're doing is they're setting us up. The billionaires and the banks are burning it down. They know they have unrealized losses on their balance sheets. So what are they doing on the back end? They're buying more gold than they have in 50 plus years. They're talking with Ripple. They're adding XRP to their balance sheet. They're doing a pre-allocation deal for XRP. They're making sure that they're going to get their hands on the assets that run the new financial system. And they're going to make sure that they're systemically important when it comes time for the bailouts as well, too. So that's why I don't worry about which banks are going to be left standing after this. I worry about what assets are going to run the system that is left standing, that does get reborn, that does get rebuilt. And that's going to be XRP. That's going to be gold. That's going to be our oil. As much as the greenies want it to go away, it ain't going away anytime soon. And so oil's back up to $93 a barrel, gold back up to about 1985, approaching 2000 once again, setting itself free, silver pumping back above $23. And the sky's the limit for these assets that have been suppressed. I have no doubt in my mind that these institutions have been adding it to their balance sheets, and that's why I've been adding a few to my balance sheet. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but if you want to watch how I'm moving through this situation that's unfolding in real time, that's why we bring the content every single day. If you appreciate what we're doing, can we tap it? Can we smack it? Can we do something with that thumbs up? And leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Are these banks actually adding XRP to their balance sheet? Are they getting pre-allocation contracts? Or am I just a crazy lunatic whack job like they called us for the Ethereum free pass conspiracy, which we were proven right and vindicated on that completely. Now we get to see it fought out here in court. And I love to win. We're starting to get major victories. And the ball's in our court now. We continue to apply pressure, continue to share this one out far and wide. I appreciate all the support, guys. It really means the world to me. And if you're looking to get in touch with our private group, if you're looking to get in contact with me, the only place that I'm going to be reaching back out to you is through my website, zachrector.com. Or if you're part of our Patreon Discord community, that's the only place you can get in touch with me. Watch out for the scammers. I'm not messaging on any social media platforms anymore. So stay safe, stay ready, and may God bless you all. Thank you so much.